Welcome to I'm Doing Well. This is my podcast. Let me just start by saying I know that cookies are unhealthy. Okay, that's not lost on me. I get that. Okay, it's locked in my brain that when you're looking for a healthy snack option, I don't think cookies fall in that category. Like if you're given two categories to categorize snacks in, and they are unhealthy and healthy, or not even unhealthy, healthy and just not healthy, I think cookies go in not healthy. Okay? That's my disclaimer. So I just want to put it out there. I get that. That being said, cookies are one of my favorite things in the world. Specifically chocolate chip cookies. I think it's my favorite kind of cookie. I have a friend that asked me, Gauruv, what's your favorite type of cookie? And I told her, I was like, well, I don't want to seem basic here, but I love a good, just warm chocolate chip cookie. Like, it's not one of the really big ones. It's not small. It's like medium size, like this, And just one of those warm from like Subway. Subway has pretty good cookies. Man, that's a real hitter. I tell you what. But this, adoration of cookies, I don't think that's the context in which you use the word adoration, but my romantic relationship with cookies has led to there being a perpetual presence of cookies in the Virk household. I'm saying that we always have cookies, So, I eat a lot of cookies. And that doesn't make me feel like a good person. Nope. In fact, I'll go the other way. It makes me feel like a bad person. I feel, I don't know, is it heaven or hell, after this? I don't know. Who knows? Well, those people. Or they don't, if nothing exists. What? I was talking about cookies, and I just sent myself down an existential spiral. This is why I started a podcast. I don't know if there's a heaven or a hell, but I don't even know why I brought that point up. Why did I bring that up? I was going to say something gets you closer one way or the other. And I forgot. Wow. Okay. But, oh, that's what it was. When I eat cookies, a lot of them that you buy from a store, like Rayleigh's, or, for my Ohio listener, it's just Alec. Kroger's, Big Eagle, is that what they're called? Yeah, for all my West Coast folks, did you know their equivalent of like Safeway and Rayleigh's is called Big Eagle? Excuse me? What? Who? What was the committee behind the naming? What was the naming committee? I would like to meet them. And I would like to know how they got on Big Eagle. They were like, we got to be special. Okay? What's something that there's not a lot of? They think endangered species. Okay. They want to be, an American staple. Let's go with, the most American endangered species. A motherfucking eagle, y'all. And then, get this. We make that bitch big. We make that bitch big. Hence, Big Eagle. And then Kroger's is just there. But, I get these processed cookies from Rayleigh's, and they just make me feel bad. Like, I take a bite and I'm like, yep, I'm going to hell. Not in a moral sense, but in a, you were given this body. Why did you treat it like that sense? So, in an effort to combat that feeling, I asked my mom, hey, next time whoever's going grocery shopping, can we get cookie dough? And she's like, but there's cookies always on the table. I'm like, yeah, no, I know. But can we get cookie dough instead? She's like, yeah, sure. Should I ask why? And I said, no, you shouldn't. No, because she would have had to listen to what I just did for the past 5 minutes. And I'm not, that's not going to do that to her. I already, put her under a lot of pain. Not going to get into that either. Sit down, son. Now that you're in the fifth grade, it's time for you to learn something. Okay. Gross. That's nasty. But I got these, I got cookie dough because in a weird part of my head, it's now it sounds even stupider. I've said it out loud before. I said it out loud last week. Now I'm saying it out loud to you guys. And I feel even more stupider. The rationale was if I make the cookies myself, they're healthier and I won't feel as bad. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But I was like, if I put the labor behind them, I'll feel like I earned them more and then I won't feel as bad. That was kind of like, I think the real psyche behind it, If I work for it, I deserve it. Those, Rayleigh's Big Eagle cookies, they just show up in a box and then you just eat them. You just get them. It's like, this is why people hunt. Hear me out. Because they're like, if I kill my food, then I deserve it. I'm not going to go, to the supermarket and get this chunk of meat, and disrespect the animal. I'm going to work for it. And that way, in the circle of life, I will have earned, that meat. Or in my case, a chocolate chip cookie. What I'm trying to tell you is today I ate 9 chocolate chip cookies. That's okay. 6 of them I made myself. So don't look at me like that. Okay. What does that mean? 3 of them were the processed ones. Yeah. Okay. You can do math. Congrats. Okay. Are you special? Hop off my back. Okay. I'm making good life choices. Okay. And you clearly aren't because you're listening to this. Oh boy. I just finished recording the UC Davis show, episode 4. Can I tell you what? Oh, no, I can't. Okay, fine. We'll change topics. Fine. That's, can I just say, bad social etiquette to say no to someone when they're like, oh, can I tell you something? Don't say no. Okay? I'll tell you this so someone else doesn't have to. You're kind of being an asshole if you say no. So can I just say, that being said, I'll continue with what I was saying. Okay. I'll tell you anyways, but lesson learned, please. And thank you and you're welcome. Okay. I feel like I've been in a slump for the past week. Like mentally, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay. I don't know why that was so intense. I don't know what's wrong with me. And then I have all these flashbacks. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I've just been like feeling bad. Like it's for no reason, but I just I slept like in just too many hours of a day. But I recorded the UC Davis show and man, I feel good. I don't know if it's because the UC Davis shows have been doing progressively worse, but man, it's kind of like taking the pressure off. And I don't know if it'll show up in, the UC Davis show from this week, but I had like fun with it. Like it was fun to record. I like write the jokes super quick now. It's like in 20-30 minutes, the jokes are written. I like write them on Thursday. Then I just work up, the courage to record it on the weekend. But man, I feel good. And I hope it came through. Like it felt good. Maybe it's because I'm in the groove, this is, my 7th podcast in a row. And, that's my 4th one of those in a row. Maybe it's just like that productivity, coming into full effect. But hey now, But fast forward to, a couple days from now when I have a, quiz in a class that's basically a midterm and then a project due and then another project due. And then there's a midterm on Thursday as well. So don't worry. This will end soon. Can I ask you something? And remember what we talked about, okay? Can I ask you something? Okay, thank you. Do you know what a dog is? Sorry. Bad opening question. What constitutes a neighbor? Right? Who do you call your neighbor? Like, you're talking to your friend at school. In this hypothetical, we're going to say you have a friend. Okay. I'm so mean. No, it's me projecting. When you're talking to your friends at school, or I can only imagine, and they're like, oh yeah, my neighbor has that car that you and your friend are somehow talking about. Yeah, my neighbor has a Subaru Outback. And then you go over to their house and you look, at their immediate neighbors, and you're like, well, I thought, and all the neighbors park on the driveway because it's the suburbs, and there's no fear of someone just breaking into a car. It's the suburbs. It's insane. People just leave garage doors open, and I what are you doing? What do you? I was playing basketball about 2 weeks back. I know. This athletic prowess doesn't just happen. Okay, you work at it like twice a month, but you work at it. Okay. I was playing basketball outside, and apparently one of my neighbors has a golden retriever. I didn't know that, but quickly became privy to that fact because I was playing basketball and this dog comes, to my neighbor's house, direct neighbor, shoulder neighbor, we'll call them. What am I doing? And, they're sniffing the garage door, sniffing the bushes, then comes to our front door, sniff, sniff. I lose sight. The dog then just starts walking straight at me and starts screaming. And I'm like, what are you doing? Then it contorts its body sideways and like tucks its head like this. And it's like twisted at the front side of its body upside down. And it's just limping at me on its back two legs. And I'm like, if there was a golden retriever exorcist, this motherfucker would get the lead part. So this exorcist dog is limping at me, screaming its head off. And I'm like, hey, God, what are you doing? Hey, you think, this is cute or something? You're only making me look bad. None of these people speak dog, okay? And there were my neighbors, these other neighbors, across the street. They're fixing a fence. I was like, hey, don't. I'm not touching him. He's doing it. He's doing it himself. So then I pet him. And he kept screaming the entire time I was petting him. I was like, you are so bad at this. What is this? Getting pet. The worst. Absolutely. There needs to be classes that dog attends to learn how to get pet. What the hell are you doing screaming while you're getting pet? That's not petting etiquette. The fuck are you doing? So I pet it. And then it uncontorted and walked down the middle of the street. And I was like, what are you doing? You daredevil dog, you. But you go to your neighbor's house and you're like, hey, none of your neighbors have a Subaru Outback. Were you lying to me? And they're like, oh, no, my neighbor, they're around the corner, turn another corner about 5 houses down. And you're like, that's not a neighbor. What are you talking about? But then your friend looks you deadpan in the eyes and says, that's my neighbor. And you're like, what? No, that's someone that lives over there. That's not your neighbor. Okay. That's someone that is probably in the same school district as you. That's not your neighbor though. Okay. And they're like, no, that's my neighbor. So I wonder what constitutes a neighbor. Like, what is the range? Is it like a feet thing? Is it a radius thing? Is it like how many turns it takes to get to them? I don't know. But for the sake of my story, I'm going to talk about one of my neighbors, which if you drove a truck straight through our backyard, it would go through another house, and you go 3 houses to the right. That's the neighbor we're talking about. Apparently, this neighbor is new in town. And we find out, not only are they human neighbors, but they brought a little dog. No, little, bad choice of words. They brought a dog, a quite sizable dog. Because about 3 weeks back, I wake up, in the morning, probably 2 p.m. Don't ask. And, you feel it. There's some excitement in the house, the air isn't still and calm like it usually is. I mean, it is 2 p.m., so that makes sense. But there's an extra excitement in the air. So I, do some investigative work. I go downstairs, and my mom's looking outside the window, and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, you are not going to believe this. And I said, lay it on me. Dialogue between her and I has never sounded like that, but that's how it is in my head. And I said, lay it on me, Big Chief. And she said, outside, we had a little guest. And I said, what do you mean a little guest? And she said, sorry, bad choice of words. We had a quite sizable guest. And I said, oh, now you're teasing me. Tell me what's up. She shows me a picture on her phone. This is the picture. There's a husky in her backyard. Right? Crazy. And I'm like, oh, wow. You replacing me? Am I getting kicked out? What's going on here? She's like, no, we got neighbors. And I'm like, well, where do they live? And she said, well, around the corner and then around the corner. I was like, well, that's not technically a neighbor. And she was like, okay, stop being an asshole. And so apparently the story of this husky is that it jumped over 3 fences and an hour fence. So 4, 3 plus 1, engineers, we're good at math. Engineering major. Sorry, I haven't earned the degree yet. I got to tread lightly. Don't want to say the wrong thing. There's a story behind that. I'll tell you one day. Remind me. When we have more time, we're talking about important things today. Okay? But this dog jumps 4 fences and ends up in our backyard. So, my dad lets it out. It goes. 20 minutes later, dog's back. Dad calls animal control. Don't know if this is the right move, but this is what happens. It's I don't know. I don't agree or disagree. It's just what happened. I'm telling the story, okay? Find out, we got new neighbors because they come over and they're like, oh my God, son. Sorry, that's our dog. Oh my God. He jumps fences. They say it matter-of-factly, like this is just something, yeah, he's black, white, and, he jumps fences. And you're like, well, don't just... What? Fences are like 6.5 feet tall. This is a sizable pup, So they're like, yeah, we know this is a problem. Usually we have a shock collar, and we set up these walls. So anytime he jumps over a wall, which is the fences they set up as the walls, they program it. It shocks him. And I guess he jumps back. I don't know the science behind it. And they're like, but we're new in town, so we haven't set it up yet. So he's jumping fences. Like I said, that was about 3 weeks ago. Monday this week, I go downstairs. There's a little bit of a fervor in the air. Like I said, a little bit of excitement. Some sparks are flying. It's not as calm as it usually is. My mom's looking out the window. Different window this time, but same view. I see the husky. I see it myself. First person account. That's how you know I'm not lying. as if the picture wasn't good enough. But I see the husk. No one's ever called a husky a husk. I don't even know what husk means. It's like Elon in an alternate universe. It's like Elon if he was a football player. There's Elon Husk. And so the dog's there. We got to call the neighbors. They come over, pick up the pup. Fast forward 2 days later, Wednesday. Husky's back. And I'm like, what's going on here? What are they going to set up this collar? Is there even a collar? Is this even their husky, or is this some kind of like joke? Oh. Are we being pranked right now? I don't know what's going on. Do they have cameras set up? Do they know I'm going to talk about? Is this going to be on a TV show? Guys, we made it big. We're on a prank show. I'm Doing Well has made it big. And that's not just because we have 34 subscribers now. I know, right? I know. We're doing it big. Speaking of doing it big, hey, I should have addressed it last week because it happened last week. 1,000 total channel views. Guys, get yourself some cookie dough and make yourself some cookies. It's healthier. You should make them yourself. You'll feel better. Trust me. But hey, celebrate. I sound like a teacher. I'm telling you, like, to do these things, but I'm not going to help you do them. Like, hey, care about your mental health. And I'm like, but you're giving me like 4 projects next week. Yeah, but make sure you have care for your old buddy mental health. And you're like, but you're sabotaging. He's like, okay, shut up. Stop. You're being too much. I'm thinking Neighbor has a pretty big range because State Farm, right? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. State Farm has a big reach. So I'm guessing neighbors, the term has a big reach too. But on Wednesday, the husky made its final appearance thus far. We'll see. Maybe there's another one. Then that was the penultimate appearance. But I'll keep you updated. On Wednesday, I talked to my friend Hoyer. Haven't talked to him in like a month. Great lad. He tells me, before I tell him my story, he tells me, you're not going to believe what's happening. I go, do tell. He says, we got these new neighbors. I said, are they your neighbors? He's like, yeah, stop being an asshole. Your mom told me you say that. Just stop. Just accept that it's neighbors. I'm like, okay, sorry. So he said, we got these new neighbors. Shoulder neighbors. And said, they happen to have a dog. I said, oh, no way. Go on. He said, yeah, there was a crack in our fence because, the storms and shit. By the way, our whole back fence just fell over. It's like, we have like ropes keeping them up right now. We will rebuild the storm of 2021. And say, yeah, our fence was a little broken. I said, yeah? He said, yeah, why would I lie about that? I said, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. I don't know. Why would I question you about that? That's silly of me to ask. He said, yeah, it really is silly. Why do you ask stupid questions like that? I'm like, I'm sorry. That's why I'm a burden in social interactions. What can I say? And he said, yeah, this fence was a little broke. It was produced by Whitney Cummings. We're looking like 2 broke girls out there. And he said, because it's broken, we got a little visitor earlier this week. I said, no way. He said, yeah, turned out our new neighbors have a pup. A little pup. I said, well, do you mean little or is it sizable? He's like, stop. Stop doing that thing you do. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. He said, yes, it's a little pup. It's a puppy. And I said, oh. He's like, yeah, it's a little husky puppy. And I was like, what? Holy shit. Death, taxes, and huskies. Those are the things that are, certain in life. Man, I guess everyone's just getting a husky nowadays. So he filled up, like a barrel of water or something and put it in front of the hole because it's a little puppy, so it couldn't push it. So that's his temporary fix. But yeah, these Huskies gotta, no pun intended, they gotta chill out. Yeah. I heard that people in Arizona get Huskies and people are like, well, that's just animal torture. That And then PETA's like, we can get involved. And we're like, okay, you're just going to expedite the process, you murderers. Oh, man. Let's look at, oh, you know what's sad? This is really sad. I use my phone on, what is it called? I have my phone on night shift 24/7. But at 7 a.m., maybe this is a setting I can change, but at 7 a.m. it goes back to like displaying blue light automatically. And I just, opened the lock screen of my phone and I noticed the blue light's on. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. You can put together what that means. I'm not going to do it because that's almost as bad as eating 5 processed cookies in a day. Not that I would do that. Heavens no. Okay. I had a lecture earlier this week. Yeah. I'm doing that school thing. That's what they're calling it. And this is a class where you got to show up, and then you got to click the iClicker questions to get credit. So, you got to show up. And the lecturer starts the lecture by saying, "Thanks for coming back." And I was like, well, you say that as if we had a choice. I'm here against my will. Well, I mean, I'm willing to be there because I want a good grade. But I thought it was funny that she was like, hey, out of all your choices, thanks for flying with us today. And I'm like, you're the only people that go to Alaska Air. Okay, don't make it seem like I chose you. Okay, you were. What am I going to take Hawaiian Airlines to go to Alaska? What do you don't give yourself a trophy, okay? I picked up some jitbee earlier today. Oh, you don't know what jitbee is? Jack in the Box? I've never said that. You could probably tell by my pause about 7 seconds ago that I've never said that because I was trying to think of the acronym in my head. Jack in the Box, JITB, jitbee. I got some jitbee earlier today, and I was driving, cruising. This looks like you're adding. This looks like a lot of things. What does this look like? This looks like a person dancing. Yep. This looks like you're adding, some toppings to a sundae. Maybe some toppings to a salad. What else does this look like? I don't know. What is this? I gotta come up with one more. I can't leave on that. Oh, you're trying to show your friends your new manicure? Look at this. Okay. Sponsors, where are you at? This is a top tier podcast. But I was driving to the, jitbee. People are calling it that. Their words, not mine, And I saw this sticker on this car in front of me, and it said, "Stop racism." And it got me thinking, wouldn't this mean that there's probably somewhere in a car, somewhere, that has a sticker that says, "Keep going with racism"? Also, I wonder, is anyone going to see that sticker and then be like, oh my God, I was racist before, but that sticker makes a goddamn good point. Holy shit. We should stop it. Imagine if you could, solve world issues with stickers. a gas station keeps getting robbed, they put a sticker on the window that says, "Stop robberies. The thieves come back." They're like, "Oh my God, well, guys, we can't. Look at the sticker, you know?" I mean, it was okay until now. But with a sticker like that, I can't bring myself to do that. Let's go. You know, this is too much. I frequent Facebook. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like to see what, you know, all the moms of the people I went to high school with, what they're up to, you know? Because that's what Facebook is for. The moms of people of where you grew up. And if you've been on Facebook, you know, the old FB, the old the Zuck invention. I don't like that those words came out of my mouth. You probably know that, you know, there's a lot of ads. A lot of ads on that, you know, book of faces. And I keep getting this weird ad for this, like, these briefs that have a ball hammock. That's what they're calling it. Okay, I'm not, it's their words. I didn't come up with this. I kind of wish I did. It's very creative. But the idea is that they're boxers. But this is so weird. But the part where you're growing it's like a little pocket. So that, this is so gross. So that essentially your package is in the hammock. Okay. Oh, and it's supposed to make you, you know, look like you have bigger bulge. And it's funny because there's like these girls that are like, "I loved my man before, but man, do I love him even more now?" Because he doesn't have a very good personality. So if I can make his physical appearance any just even a little better, that's gonna make this less painful. Thank God, because he just opens his mouth and oh my God. But thanks to the ball hammock boxers, looks a little bigger, so I can tolerate his gaslighting. Good thing these ball hammocks came in, you know, they shipped quick because he was tricking me into thinking I was crazy. Man, but now I see that package. Now I'm not talking about Amazon, and I just love the guy. The worst part is the reason I get this ad is because one of my Facebook friends likes it. You know, when it's like this person likes this. One of my Facebook friends, he likes that, and so I keep seeing this shit. Who the hell does he not know other people can see that? Is he liking it? Because he's like, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm doing fine now, pretty well endowed, but might come in handy. Handy is such a choice word to use in this context. That's hilarious. that ball hammock might come in handy. Might. I follow another person on Facebook. It's someone I went to elementary, middle school, high school with. And this guy posted this thing. It was like a meme. How old am I? I just said, it's like a meme. It was a meme. What am I talking about? You know, it's like one of those things, you know, the kids are doing, the memes, the pictures with the words, you know, the ones. This guy shared this meme. This guy's 21, 22, you know, my age. He shared a meme, and it was some lady yelling, you know, with a sign. You couldn't, it was a picture, but you could tell by the formation of her mouth. She was screaming. She was yelling for what she believes in. And she held a sign up that said, "Stop venting on Facebook. No one cares." And, I mean, how ironic is that, right? He's complaining about people complaining. And all of this is happening on Facebook. that I want to hope that he posted it because of the irony. And if that's the case, then, good joke. That was good. But there's a very, much more real part of me that's like, ugh, the irony is lost on him. And that's a damn shame. Tied this tie? Myself. I know. First try. I'm learning a lot thanks to the UC Davis show. And I think I'm going to start writing down what I've learned from doing the show. And at the end of the show's tenure, I don't know if I use that word right, but we'll keep it. Not that I really cut anything from this. I've only cut one thing. It was like, I think 2 episodes ago. I drank water. And I drank water for 7 seconds straight. And my throat made these very, very intimate noises. And so I was like, you guys don't want to hear that or watch that. So I cut it. But everything else I've left in. But I think I want to do, at the end of the show's tenure, I want to like make a video where it's like what I learned from doing the show. Because, you learn so many things from doing that. Like, this isn't a very concrete one, but like how to write jokes faster and how to tie a tie. That Lachelle May works for CNN. I didn't know that. That Gary May is a comic book fanatic. These are all things I didn't know until I paid attention to Thursday Thoughts, and I had to write, jokes for him every week. It's funny. I started it because I was like, no one watches it or whatever, which has forced me to watch it. And I actually, I think they're dope. And I actually kind of struggled. I've said the word actually way too many times for one sentence, but it's a run-on sentence, so it's already flawed from the start. But I felt pretty, I don't know if it's because I was in a slump, like I said earlier, but I felt like bad this week because Thursday Thoughts this week went from Gary May's Instagram story to IGTV, which is like a thing on Instagram. You know what it is. They moved it there, so now it doesn't go away after 24 hours. You can watch it whenever you want, even though what they talk about is pretty much only applicable for that week, which is actually false. They've made it so personalized that it's timeless content. It will, it stands the test of time. That's actually, look at them. It's good. But I noticed when they made the transition from stories to IGTV, then they started using transitions, crossfade transitions to cut out silence space, because usually they would have to, they use the cut in a story to go to the next question. But now they just keep fading through everything, and it's so seamless, and it's so good. And another thing that happened this Thursday Thoughts, they made me feel so good, but then so guilty and bad, was that Gary May started this week's Thursday Thoughts by saying, "What's up, Aggies?" And it didn't seem forced at all. He totally said it. Like, it wasn't a script or anything. He was like, "What's up, Aggies? Let's get started." And it made me like him so much. And then I was like, what am I doing? I was like, why am I clowning, this so hard? So I think that's why maybe I had more fun with it this week, is because my jokes, I don't know, I feel like my jokes were flying too close for comfort. But I think my jokes this time were more self-deprecating, and yeah, I think that's more fun for the audience and for me. And yeah, I just want to say Thursday Thoughts, the form that it is in right now, being on IGTV and, getting away from the Instagram story, with the crossfades, and I think it's so perfect. I think what Thursday Thoughts is right now is in a perfect place. And I just want to say, shout out to you, social media team. I think you guys are killing it. I think Thursday Thoughts is really dope right now. I'm almost running out of ties. So if you've liked my tie selection, when I talked to Hoyer earlier this week, he was like, I haven't really watched them, but the thing I'm most surprised in is, how do you have so many ties? And I'm like, oh, are you not, liquid in the asset that is ties. And he's like, no, I think I have like one tie. And I don't even know what color it is. And I was like, oh, I'm looking at the back of my door and I see 4 different ties. And then there's this one. Black tie, blue tie. Actually, it's the 3 ties I wore for the first 3 episodes of the UC Davis show, and then a silver one that I'll probably not wear because it doesn't go with anything. Tell me, what color shirt can you wear a silver tie with? I don't think there is one. I don't think silver. It's a background color. You know, you gotta have like a foreground strong color, and the silvers doesn't pack that punch. You know, I don't know. Maybe you'll see the light of Hollywood, the UC Davis show. Man, Arya talked about, last week. I've found my groove with the podcast. I think you're right. Like, I feel really good doing this. Like, I look forward to it. I think it's fun. Like, it's dope. I don't know. I think it's because you guys are so interactive. It makes it so fun. Because I'm like, oh yeah, people are listening to this and they're like finding it cool. Like Arya, I think it was episode 2. I made a joke about like running hot, and you're like, I laughed at that. I can't believe I laughed at that. And it's even like a little comment like that. I'm like, hell yeah, this podcast is dope. Let's keep doing this. But I hope it comes through in the quality of it. I'm kind of seeing how to approach this better, and yeah, it's dope. I like how it's going now. Even though like last week I was beating myself up. That's the thing. I think last week I was touching on too serious of a topic, and the thing I think I mean, it's good to talk about stuff like that. It was a good conversation. Ashir offered a godlike, opinion. It seems so bad to call it an opinion. It was like a masterpiece in Discord, which I'm going to send to my team. I think they'd like it. And, that's dope. I don't know where I was going with that. I got too lost in the wording of it all. It's just semantics. You know what they say. It's just semantics. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So it's good. It's a great relationship we have. We're both happy. Oh my God, that's rare. Look at us, guys. We're doing great. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, I think it's cool to talk about serious stuff, but I think it's more fun to just, talk about random shit, make jokes. That's what I like doing the most. And, I think everyone, I'm sure you guys, 99% of you know this, but just to cover my ass, remember, everything I say, take it with pounds of salt. I'm rarely serious about, anything. If there's anything serious, it's usually veiled by a joke, and it's hidden somewhere. But I don't know how often I'm just serious, on the forefront. So everything with pounds of salt, okay? Not a grain, pounds of salt. I think we should do some housekeeping. I don't even know what that means. I should figure that out. I don't even know what that means. I just repeated myself. We hit 34 subscribers. We hit 1,000 total views on the channel. And I'm happy with the 2 pieces of content I recorded today, which is dope. And part of the reason it's so dope is because of your guys' support. So thank you. And as you can see, it's morning. So good morning. I'll see you next week, and goodbye.